Hey everybody, I posted on my Facebook earlier today that I was attending a PFLAG event here in Abilene. They had a lawyer come in from Dallas as well as a financial planner, and the lawyer hit on basically how DOMA affects those of us that live in a state like Texas where same-sex marriage is not legal. I am not a lawyer. I am not in any way, shape, or form any kind of law professional. I have never dabbled in it. I've never researched it. At this point in my life, it's just not something that has interested me a great deal. But this particular topic did interest me because it's relevant to the community that I moved through. So I posted that on Facebook, and I've had quite a few people message me asking questions and whatnot, so I just figured it would be easier for me to share with you what she shared with us in a video. Again, I'm not a law professional, and this is a really abbreviated version of what she shared. I will put her contact information in the description box. She is herself a lesbian. She's been married to her partner for 17 years, I believe she said, so she's very friendly, and she's very open to questions. She said anyone's more than welcome to email her and ask her questions. She will do her best to get back to you as soon as possible. So here is just a real brief synopsis of what she shared with us. Her name is Rebecca Cubble, by the way, Rebecca Cubble. She said that DOMA, which, if you're not sure, stands for the Defense of Marriage Act. There's actually 3 different sections to it, and the section 2 is currently a big source of contention because that is the bit of it that states each individual state gets to determine whether or not same-sex marriage is legal in that state. She said that there are current lawsuits pending to get that stricken, but as of right now, that's never been ruled on by the United States Supreme Court. She said that there are 2 important factors to consider when living in, well, she said Texas, but I mean it would apply to any state where same-sex marriage is not legally recognized. She said that you want to consider what your marriage state is, or what your domicile state is, because that's obviously going to affect your protection rights as a married couple. And she also said that it's important to stop and think about what federal agency that you're looking at. Like, as an example, Shay is a military veteran, so if her and I jaunted off to Washington or Hawaii or the District of Columbia, whatever, and got married, the military is a federal institution, therefore they have to recognize the United States Supreme Court ruling on same-sex marriage, or 2 people that have 2 X chromosomes. So I would then be eligible for spousal benefits because I'm married to a military veteran. She said that the Department of Justice, the Department of Defense, which would include the military, places like Homeland Security, basically any federal institution or agency that is run by the government, by the federal government. She did say, however, that Social Security still currently looks to the state laws to determine how they act in situations like this. One of the couples that was there said that they had an experience where they went to a state where it was legal to get married, and when they came back to Texas, they took that marriage license into the Social Security office to get, one of them wanted to take the other one's last name, and the folks at the Social Security office here in Texas said that, that isn't going to work here because it's not legal. You'll have to go through the name change process, which I'm sure we're all very well acquainted with. You have to go to court, pay a bunch of money. What was I saying? Yeah, so Social Security still looks to whatever state that the office is located in, they look to the laws of that state. She said that they are currently reviewing those policies, whatever that means. She said, as much as it stinks to talk about, it's important to consider the downsides of being legally married, particularly if, like us, you live in a state where it's not legal. She said that there's varying protection nationwide, so she kind of used an amusing example, like, you know, if we went on a road trip to Washington and got married where it's legal, and then zipped over through, you know, Illinois, all of those states over there where it's legal, and then bumped down into North Carolina, well, it's not legal. So, God forbid you get in some kind of accident or have some sort of grave medical issue when you're traveling through a state where it's not legal, because you'll be in that situation that we're all terrified of, where according to that hospital in that state, you are legally a stranger. Also, she said if you are in the high income bracket, you need to be aware that you will be much more heavily taxed being legally married. So that's something that you need to be aware of and to plan for and take into consideration. She said that if you want to get divorced, pretty much any state that it's not really legal in, they're not going to grant a divorce for a marriage that they don't even want to acknowledge exists. So that can kind of be difficult. And she brought up one instance where one of the members of the couple that was dissolving had to actually move back to, or move to the state where they got married, because that was the only way that state would legally grant a divorce, is if one of the members of the dissolving marriage was a resident of that state. So they had to completely, that person had to completely uproot their life and go live in a state that they had never lived in before long enough to get residency in order to get a divorce. So she said those are just some of the things that you need to be aware of and keep in mind. She said, in the meantime, some really important things that she strongly recommends those of us that live in states where it's not legal, that we need to do this, like ASAP, because you're never guaranteed your next breath. She said that you want to get a medical power of attorney and a HIPAA release, statutory durable power of attorney, and she said that on things like this, if you've ever been to, like, the emergency room, if you've ever been admitted to a hospital, they will always ask you if you have a medical power of attorney, and if you want to get that done, like an advance directive and things, if you want to get that done while you're there in the hospital. And that's well and good, but she said that that's a very, 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 very basic legal document, and she said that if it comes down to that document having to be utilized in court, she said it's basically like a colander. It's not going to hold any water. There's going to be so many holes that the lawyers can pick apart. She said that she strongly recommends you go and get all of these things done with the advice of a lawyer, because she said that the language in which these documents are written are very, very critical to making sure that your partner and you are actually truly protected and legally secure in the rights that these documents can provide if you live in a state where it's not legal to get married. She said it's important to include in the medical power of attorney language such as, this person is my medical power of attorney, and she said to also include that that person is your agent and can visit you like they are your next of kin, that they can manage your medical care on your behalf, and that they even have the right to remove you from a facility, for example, if they feel like you're not being cared for like you should. they have the right to take you from that facility, even if it's against medical advice, and seek out a facility where they feel you'll be better cared for. Because she said if you don't specify stuff like that, then they don't have to do it. They don't have to let you do it. She said that once you get all of these things done, to always, always, always carry a copy with you. You know, and when you get these done, there has to be 2 witnesses present, and you have to have a legal notary present. And she said, she used an example, her and her wife, they keep a little black folder with all of these papers in their glove box, and they also keep it in their purses, so that these forms are always with them, so that in the event of an accident, it's never a question. Like, they're never going to get asked to leave from their partner's hospital rooms. Their respective families won't ever be able to interfere and take away that right that you have as a partner. She also said to get a physician's directive, which is also known as a living will. She said that you want to have a legal document that appoints an agent to control the disposition of your remains. And to be blunt, if you're not sure what that means, you need to actually have a legal document written that says my partner gets to decide how my body is taken care of in the event of my death. So if you want to be cremated, if you want to be buried, if you want to be planted under a tree, whatever you'd like, then your family can't come in and say, no, this is my child and this is what is going to get done. Your partner has that right and that power. She also said that you have got to make a will, because even with all of these other documents, then if you, in the event that you pass on, your estate will still legally go to your next of kin if you do not have it lined out in a will. So get a will. And she also said that you can't clearly get a prenuptial agreement in states where it's not, marriage isn't recognized, but there's something that basically serves the same purpose, and it's called a joint property agreement. So I know that was probably really scattered, and like I said, that's just a really, really, really brief synopsis of what she shared with us, but I will put her contact information down for you, and like I said, she's very open to questions. I mean, I'm sure she's not going to give you like a full-on legal service for no cost. She's going to make a living too, but she is open to basic questions. So there's that, and I hope everyone has a good evening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.